the way Jay always wrote for Kev, and they always even joke about like, Jay making places for him to be in feel like he's supposed to be there.
Yep.
Like him and Jay, I feel like adding to what you're saying about Kev speaking this stuff, like they were always on that same wavelength.
Yo, what's good? It's your boy Lo, man, and we're back for another episode of The World According to Lo. Today's guest is a good one. Y'all know I've really been taking my time trying to make sure I'm giving us guests to really learn from and grow from. And the guy behind the camera today, his work speaks for itself. He's been involved with some of the most wildest, funniest, and consistent digital content on the internet today. You may have heard of KevOnStage, right? Well, today we're going to learn about the guy behind the camera. Yeah, that whole empire that Kev is building over there. My boy today is a key component of it. And we're going to talk daily content, live shows, some of their branded partnerships. The machine only runs in certain capacities because of this director, photographer, and one-man production army. And I am talking about none other than the man himself, JoshyGonz. And I need y'all to big him up and let's welcome him to the stage.
What up, man?
Hey, first off, let me start by saying it's an honor and pleasure to have you here on The World According to Lo, man. I know how busy you are, and this has been a long time coming, man, but we here today. How you feeling?
Man, I mean, first of all, thank you for having me. I'm humbled by all the words that are leaning in. I hope I can have something to back up everything that you hype me up to be, but I will hopefully drop a couple things that hopefully somebody can pick up.
Hey, man, absolutely. Well, let's start at the beginning. You know, we're going to bounce around a little bit, but
Let's do it.
I like to get right to it, man. You know, everybody has an origin story. And, you know, I found some things out before, when I was researching you, and I saw that you actually went to school for marketing.
Man, you dug deep. A lot of people don't even know that, bro. I got a business degree. First. Number one, I really felt like I had to go to school because my dad wasn't going to let me not to.
Yeah.
In the era of like immigrant families, this is the way out. This is the way to like their jobs are to kind of try to put you in a position of go be self-sufficient because I'm tired. You know what I mean? In the best way possible, though. What's funny though is I actually, when I was first going to school, or when I was graduating high school, I still wanted to be attached to sports. I played sports growing up. Psyched myself into thinking I was going to go to the league playing baseball. That was never happening after seeing any pro baseball player.
Yeah.
I just had a great time. And it was fun for me. But actually, before school started, school being college, I was going to be in like kinesiology. I was trying to go for another funny story too. I was going for kinesiology, like physical therapy, because I was like, cool, I can still be attached to some like the game, right? Whatever that looks like. So I was like, cool. My mom got a nursing degree from USC. I was like, easy lob. Man, I had like a 3.0 coming out of high school. So I was like, easy lob. I got family, whatever that thing's called that you're supposed to get like a little preferred acceptance.
Yeah.
I didn't get accepted to USC. USC, not South Carolina. I know, respect to the South. Fight on, USC Trojans in California. So I went to school for marketing. And that actually is what got me in the door to my first couple of internships that led to a job, because towards the end of my college time, I was like, I don't really know if I want to work up a corporate ladder, because I had applied to some internships.
Yeah.
And for me, it was like, I'm working at Nike or I'm not working in the industry at all. And that's not practical whatsoever. It's like, not that you can't reach for it.
Yeah.
I just didn't have the ins to try and get that door knocked on to actually get my application to the right people. I didn't really know how to navigate at that point. So I ended up meeting somebody who worked at Awesomeness TV, which is a YouTube channel, multi-network type thing at the time. And
was Tracy there then?
Tracy
Wasn't Tracy Edmonds involved with that?
Possibly because parallel timelines. That's where That's where Kev and Liz were at for JoJo and Zay Zay.
Yeah.
But I didn't really know them at the time. They were like, I mean, it's the same office, but they were doing other stuff.
It was
I
a lot
was,
going on with that.
yeah. And Awesomeness was, man, they were cranking content out left and right. I
Man.
was in the unscripted department, so I was just logging footage as an intern, and that was very tedious work to say the least. They had a bunch of interns doing it, and for me, I was like, okay, cool. Let me take an internship because that counts as a college credit. That's one less class I got to do. I was trying to take less school,
Facts.
so I did that for a summer, and then the person I was interning for, who kind of got me in there, headed over to All Def. His name is Sidney Kim. Shouts to Sid. Um, he's like, hey, this company's a lot smaller. It's more in the hip hop space, music space, from the Def umbrella.
Yeah.
He's like, do you want to, like, there's a spot there for you, still as an intern though. I was like, absolutely, get me out of this logging footage. It'd be a lot more hands-on, which growing up I had always had a thing for cameras.
Yeah.
In middle school ish era, at like the family reunions, my uncle he had like a Nikon, like an old joint, like one
Like
of
the
the
cool
first.
pick.
No, he had like a DSLR Nikon. I was like, "Ooh, man, this thing zooms, click, click,
Yeah.
makes the click sound," and he just let me run around with it, taking photos of everybody. And I literally looked forward to that. That was so fun. And I also knew like I couldn't have one of these. And
Yeah.
then I actually still have it. I had a little Vivitar point and shoot that I got from my like 8th grade class trip.
I
I
think I
still
got one back here on the shelf. One
I
I had
still
one
got
too.
it, bro. It's
Yeah.
downstairs. I know exactly where it's at, in the garage. But it didn't give me the same satisfaction. And I was like, oh man, this is kind of whack.
It don't hit the same game.
It's like I need the full joint. And honestly, like I said, I took like a photo class and a video class in high school, and then I think I took like one. Actually, I didn't really take any like digital media classes in college, just because I was just trying to get my credits done and get out of there.
Yeah.
Like my college experience was super rushed. Not rushed, but I was just like, I was working. That's the first time I really like started working, and then I was interning at the same time. So my time like didn't really exist outside of, I was just
Full
so focused.
days.
Like, yeah, I was just like, my last year I was interning twice a week and then going to school, I think twice a week. Like every other day.
Now, were you still working at PacSun at the time?
Yeah, man. Damn, you got it all. Yeah, so that's where I was working. I was working at PacSun, I think for 3 years. I worked there. Oh no, like 3.5, 4. Like once I graduated college, All Def was like, at that point I had been I was going hard there, and I was trying
Yeah.
to learn everything. I was trying to soak everything up. I was hands on with the camera team because also we didn't really have a lot of budget to hire a bunch of people. So that's where I kind of learned like the basis of how to use a Zoom recorder, how to be a cam op in like very loose terms. I never went to film school. Respect to the people that do and learn it correctly, technically, and all that. But I had started producing a lot of content and was able to shoot a lot of content. Not really edit it because we did have a solid editing team, and the whole post production team was like what held a lot of the stuff to come out like together
in the pipeline, I'm sure.
And absolutely. And I got job offered almost immediately after I was done with school, and I was like, absolutely. And most of it was just like PA day rates, but that was like still way more than what I was in 8-hour workday at PacSun. At the time, minimum wage was I think it was just crossing $9.
Was it 9?
It was just, well, California's different.
Yeah, I was about to say the rest of the country wasn't like that.
Yeah, I mean, now out here it's closer to 17, which is still, I mean, for me, it's still crazy to see that jump from. But also cost of living is insane.
So were y'all? Let me ask you this: were y'all shooting like around that time? Was it 5Ds y'all were shooting with?
Yeah, 5D Mark III on almost everything.
That was like industry standard for YouTube back then.
That was absolutely, because it was cheap too. You know, we had like one Sony.
The FF700.
No, we never had those. We had like a PMW.
Really?
I think we
almost
had
like the newsy. But
that's because one of the old
Production
department
lead.
heads had one who was like, "Yeah, man, I'll sell it to the company, bro." We used that thing like 3 times,
Yeah.
but but yeah, we were shooting primarily. Yeah, almost everything was 5Ds, and then we had one Sony A7S towards the end of like my era at All Def. But yeah, 90% of I would say 95% of this stuff. I think we had like 2 or 3 5Ds. We might have had like a 70D2, but we really didn't like using that
Yeah.
unless we had to. But yeah, I mean, so that led to me producing a bunch of content at All Def, and then I mean we were going hard there for years, and that's I mean really where I met Kev and kind of got to know them and the family a little bit, and I got let go of All Def in 2017, like in the end, like
When they
around the
start
fall.
clearing it out a little bit, thinning
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of stuff was moving around then. And then in 2018, well, going into 2018, Kev was like, "Yo, I'm about to do the Real Comedian social media tour." He's like, "I want to shoot a mini doc," and at that point too, I had like really wanted to create like I love telling stories, even in like
Yeah.
my own content. Like that's always been it's always moved me. So I feel like doing that visually is something that I want to keep doing in
Right.
whatever medium. At the time, it was like mini doc, documentary, like, but I also couldn't do that at All Def. Just the goals were different there. So he knew that, and he also knew I really like music too. He's like, "Yo, I know it's not music, it's comedy," but he's like, "I really want to do a documentary around this first tour. I think it'd be really important for me." And it was like this first one that he was doing solo, taking people out and putting a show together on his own. I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. Also,
Yeah.
I didn't have anything lined up next. You know, I put so much into All Def at the time, and um, I also got burned out of producing content at that point too,
Yeah.
which was like really hard because at the time it was like us, BuzzFeed, Genius, um,
It was like
Complex.
it was the time that was the time where YouTube channels like were doing like
Yes,
testing networks.
for
That's what I
sure.
said. Tracy. So what's funny is during that time I was doing my own, like I'm here in the South, but
Mhm.
I was working in the industry. That's how I met Jason early, because I was doing like I was associate producer with the Stellars and all that stuff, and I was
Okay.
meeting people from LA and these other markets, Chicago, with
Yeah.
like but then everybody was like, "Oh man, like pull up, like we shoot content, we're collaborating," like, and I'm like, "Oh no, man, I'm going back to Mississippi." They're like, "You're not in LA?" It's like, no, no, gang. Well, can you fly out? Like, just crash some, like you can crash. And then I was like newly married, dude. And I'm like,
Oh
my wife's
wow.
not,
Yeah, I can't just be here another day, bro. It's not how it
yeah.
works.
But like they were doing black YouTube also. So
Okay.
like that's when like King Batch and them were
Oh
just
yeah.
starting to pop from
Yeah.
Vine.
That was such a like pure era of creativity, I feel like, where people were just throwing a lot of ideas all over the place and getting stuff up.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's when like you said, those multi-channel networks, those MCNs, right? That's when
Yep.
they were really thriving during that time. But also, it was such a wild west. Like no one really knew what this. I mean, still to this day, there's no formula, right?
No.
But that was the realization of like, oh, there's really no formula. But let's if something sticks, let's make 1,000 of them. Let's
Yep.
try and make as many as we can. And for me, like I mean, like I said, I struggled with producing at that scale and producing a bunch of stuff that I didn't even really love, you
Yeah,
know,
enjoy.
and that was the hardest part. But also what sucked too is like I was like I could apply at these spots. I had some ins at a couple like 2 or 3 places to be honest with you. One of them would have had me relocate to New York, and I was like, bro, I don't even know if I'm ready for all that to do this job. And at this
Yeah.
point too, like nobody really knew what was going to happen with these networks because things just weren't moving the same. Like
Right.
a lot of money was moving around for like branded content and stuff early on, so everybody got excited, and then like it just changed. Everything changes so fast, right? And being in a company like that, um, you got to roll with it. Otherwise, one, you're going to get left behind, or you're going to be along for the ride and be struggling along the way to do
Yeah.
it.
Now I like that you mentioned the transition between that. I call it a content farming house, because that's pretty much what they were doing. Where it's like a lot of stuff don't have to be super polished. The audio just had to be good, framed up. Like it was more about how creative could we be to keep ahead of whoever else
Mm.
was in the space. And now you start to move into this operation with Kev. And I interviewed Kev early in his journey,
Mm-hmm.
where it gives me goosebumps talking about this. Everything he's doing now, Kev said back
Absolutely.
then.
Yeah.
And people think like, oh, he's just it's funny seeing people say he's an implant, like they planning him. And I'm like, dude,
Crazy, bro.
he's
I've never
documenting.
heard that. I could believe it. I've never heard that, but also like that's really crazy. Yeah,
This
man.
guy literally has sacrificed whatever, not just him, because I really had a close relationship with Jason. We kind of interacted more in like my journey in my career, and then what he was doing, and hearing Jason. My love for Kev came through Jason's love for building his brother's dream.
Mm,
And I was like, man, and like seeing a brother so invested in his brother's success
yeah,
was
man.
like, yo, I
Yeah, it was really crazy, bro. And like, see, like the way I mean, and not to get too much into their stuff, but like the way Jade always wrote for Kev, and they always even joke about like
yeah,
uh Jay making places for him to be in feel like he's supposed to be there.
yep.
Like him and Jay, I feel like adding to what you're saying about Kev speaking this stuff, like they were always on that same wavelength.
Yo, I hate to interrupt, but I had to stop and ask you guys to please subscribe. I'm editing this episode and everything else, but I had to get in here and say it means the world to me if you could. So if you could just stop, or when you finish the episode, either one, and just hit that subscribe button, I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's get back to the episode.
It
Always.
just they just needed the blocks, like just a couple pieces were always missing, you know. And like you said, the way that Jay would always big him up, and not even just to gas him, it's just
Yeah.
like you know the inevitable. It's just like navigating through everything, right? Navigating through everything, uh, getting there, and as stuff is now coming into fruition, like you're saying, is really is crazy, and I think that's also what makes it hard. Um, talking about Jay,
I know, man.
uh, because this is all stuff that like they would be talking about
And that's
happening.
and all right, so I say all of that to bring it to this point here where I remember when Kev's content began to look different.
Okay.
And I couldn't back then, it wasn't like socially um the norm to credit on social and YouTube.
Mm,
But then when I kept finding out, like when it come along that you were the new thing that was allowing the production level to go up. That's why I tell you, I'm like, bro, I know. I think I told you this first time I met you. I know I don't know you, but I
mm.
feel like I know you through your work.
That was that essence, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. That was
and
during that was all the Ford stuff.
all the Ford stuff. I really wish
Funny
I would have won
story.
that truck.
We'll mention Ford later too on an unrelated note, but also related note.
Yeah. So seeing that, and this is what I tell people. I remember learning early that, I came from a lot of the mentors who were like, you're only as good as the next thing you're doing. Like, you could do something great, don't get stuck. So many people be like, oh, that's my claim to fame. You might have saw me in X, Y, and people like, okay, but what are you doing now? You know this. It's like we only as relevant as the thing that we're consistently creating. And seeing you in the space that you were in, because I love that there are a few of us that are chosen to be one man crews primarily. It's a different lane for us. Like, we got to figure it out.
Big figure it out, bro.
Yeah. So, you go into a space, your client's there, it's dark, it's dim. You got to figure it out. Like, you're getting paid to figure it out. There's no gaffer, there's nobody to hold the lights. Like, I watched y'all go all over, bro. And, we're going to get to some of that. But the demand that Kevin does to put out so much content,
Yeah.
people think that it's just you hitting record, but I know enough to know you have to be sensitive and somewhat open to allow that vision to become a part of you. How did you get to where you allowed yourself to settle into just being the guy for Kev? Because you could easily be a lot of different places, a lot of different brands. You could say, hey, man, I've been here, done that. Let me move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like you have like taken the reins of, hey, man, I'm here to help build this thing out. And what y'all are doing for so many people, the sacrifices y'all are doing for so many things to be open for others is, I think, the most impressive thing. So my question to you is, like, one, how do you feel being the guy that is putting the frame to a vision, and definitely being like head of production, and then like how to keep those demands at a place where you can still balance it all?
There's a lot to that. Number one, back to the title. I was never, especially coming out of all deaf and or just working professionally anywhere. I was like, man, what do these titles even mean? Because even there, we had to wear a lot of hats, right?
Yeah.
For example, and like, so I kind of just, I enjoy. It's a gift and a curse, to be honest, and it's something that I'm trying to let go of feeling like I have to do everything, because it's not always the best it's going to be like that, even though there are a lot of restrictions where you have to, like you said. um but back to my title, uh and this was early. This was when I got brought on. They're like, what about head of production? I was like, cool. I mean, like, if that works with y'all, like, I'm not suggesting to press that. And but even then, it's not, that wasn't for the sake of like, oh, I got a head of production from Kevin Melissa's perspective. That was them being like, yo, you can use this for later. You know what I mean? Like, that was always them of like, whenever you do choose to feel like you're ready to move on, you got this and we'll back it on a resume saying you did it. Now, mind you, the content that Kev gets out daily, I don't even have my hand in all that, because that's his thing, right? I
Yeah.
like to do my best to elevate to a certain point what I have my hands on. Because that's where I feel like I can bring that type of quality, that type of work. And not every time, but that's the bar that I like to set in terms of kind of raising it,
Yeah.
just to make stuff look a little bit different. Back to even the early things that I started doing for them, which was when they were doing the Love Hour and the Askas, those like at the Reseda House.
Yeah.
Um, Even then, I was struggling with it because I'm used to shooting it a certain way. And he's like, no, we'll just do it on the phone, we'll do it on the phone. And then I was like, cool, well, at least let's get some good mics for it. That way, at least it's just not the phone audio.
Right.
So even then, at the time, I'm trying to figure out ways to route a Zoom recorder directly into an iPhone that wasn't really there yet, because that stuff was like starting to progress into
Right.
the norm. Because when I try to just sync the audio with the iPhone footage, it doesn't line up because of the variable rates in the iPhone, and I'm tripping because I'm syncing it in the beginning, but it's not lining up at the end, and I don't
Yeah.
know why, and I don't know what to tell Kev either, because we're a lot of the times like we would just kind of crank stuff out after we'd have dinner there. I'd just be at the house um after one of those days of shooting five or six of them.
Right.
Uh but even then, he kind of, when I got brought on because he was trying to alleviate stuff off his plate because he's big. I can do everything as well.
Yeah.
To the point where he was going to shows and editing podcasts, and he's like, I don't want to do this anymore. So then that's where we kind of worked out something that works for like me wearing a few hats under the umbrella when we're not on tour, as well as being a part of the tour stuff as well.
Yeah.
Which is the stuff that I really wanted to be a part of early on because I love to travel and I just love shooting live, not necessarily live events, but like artists in their element, which is music or which is comedy. Like
Yeah.
seeing them there and being around the crowd and like that's a different type of energy to document, which is
I
really
agree.
dope. But not to get too off topic, um, the juggling of everything sometimes is very hard
Yeah.
because stuff bottlenecks. Like I'm still catching up from last month, all the promo for Churchy, right?
Yeah.
Something that we're trying to do in terms of in as of the last month and a half or two is we're trying to document as much as we can that's going on. One, for the archives,
Yep.
just to look back on, and also if we use this stuff later for something bigger, then even
Figure.
better. We have it. You know what I mean? Um, Also, we're trying to turn like for that promo season that we're not necessarily through yet because it's still within the first month of Churchy being released, as well as, excuse me,
The hospital coming out also.
hospital coming out and then the book coming out. You
Yeah.
know, like there's going to be a lot more one-off things that we're going to be doing, but we're trying to get content up just to kind of show and share of like the things we're doing, even though like those don't have to be crazy produced, and that's something I have to walk myself back because I think recap, I think like cool transitions, keep things really interactive, and to keep the attention of whoever's scrolling locked
Yeah.
in for a little bit longer. But sometimes I gotta let that go because the content that we're making right now, in terms of like Kev does some vlogs for his Patreon that are not outward public facing, I should say. Those are for the fans that want to see everything,
Yeah.
and that I want to make mini docs every single time, right? I want some structure, I want some outline, I want a timeline, button up in between. I want to make it feel like I'm telling a story, but I also have to let that go and compromise. Like, hey, this getting up more in real time is more effective than being able to chip away at it to make something as perfect as I like it. Um, to come out like whenever it does. Because
Yeah.
even back to the first documentary, they kind of led into this. I told Kev, I was like, yo, I think we should hire an editor. He's like, nah, I think you could do it. I was like, bro, I don't, I think I might be able to do it, but I
Yeah.
also want you to have something that you're like super proud of and all this. But I mean, he's the one who really pushed me through that wall of like, uh, done is better than perfect
Yeah.
in most cases. So that was really, it's still hard to work through,
Yeah.
but
He
as
said
stuff
that to me as well. I
it,
yeah.
it's real though, and he said, I think he just said it on a podcast recently as well, or no, actually we were at one of the churchy promo things, Scene on the Scene, and he said that, and it's still like that's going to be evergreen, no matter what, no matter what content's being put out, no matter what medium it's coming out on, um because people want to, you got not necessarily got to feed the beast, but people want to see what's going on and be a part of it, and it's important.
Yeah.
That to say though, uh the amount of things that come out, or the amount of things that we're doing in a short amount of time, there was a couple days in like those last 2 weeks where I was like, man, I don't know what this really looks like. As I'm shooting, I'm trying to think about like what the edit's going to be. I'm like, cool, this is, and I kind of built a little structure in terms of like what my recaps would look like, which was like find a quotable, put some B-roll over it,
Yeah.
titles, that's it.
Yeah.
30 seconds or a minute, maybe 2 minutes, I don't know. Or if I remember to in the moment, or if Kev's got the energy, try and get him to button up what we did or whatever's going on for the vlog or for the
Yeah.
reel. And what I've been trying to do now is like get like a quick like 20-30 second narrative piece so I can use for the vlog, but I can also use part of that for the reel and just put some B-roll over it.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, like most of the audience just wants to see, and it's not gonna. But also, that's me being at peace knowing that like these aren't gonna do a million views. These aren't gonna do
Yeah.
200,000 views. The Sinners parody is gonna go like we didn't think it was gonna go that crazy, but
It went
it
crazy.
did, and it was dope. And there was so many ways that I was like, dang, I wish I could have blasted a light in here, but we didn't have that. Uh, well, not didn't have the bread, but didn't like have the budget for that specifically. Like,
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely tougher at times when it comes to being the one man show. And gratefully on this next tour, and actually, I could tell you where it's hurt is trying to be the one man show for something like the Ball Brothers, where we did a kind of like test feel of what the show is going to be traveling wise in Tacoma, and that show kind of ate me up, man, because
Yeah.
like I try to do a multicam as well as record the board audio, um, which I had a system for the show that we did in Burbank. We had a couple camera operators, but even then, I just like had the audio go into a Zoom, and then I just synced that to the multicam, and then just did like
Yeah.
uh, a multicam sequence in Premiere, cut the cameras in between. Like that worked for me. Doing this in a new venue was a different pill because one, um, it wasn't clear with the staff that what we were doing, so
Yeah.
we didn't really have room to set up like the amount of cameras, not amount, but like I want to do like three, right?
Yeah.
And most of it is just for coverage. It's not even like, oh, I want close ups of this because like we don't really have I wasn't trying to cam up like that.
Yeah.
It's really just cutaways and just to make sure every part of the stage is covered at one point. So there was a miscommunication about that. There wasn't enough gear, so I was like, cool, I could at least use my A1, which I don't really like using for video,
Yeah.
especially in low light, and my FX3 at the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And then I was like, cool. I was like, I'll just see if they can just record on the board internally. They're like, no, we need a USB. And I'm like,
All of
okay.
the
So
things.
I had to run to Best Buy, I had to come back. Um, Two of the shows weren't recorded. USB wasn't pressed to
Yeah.
record. So like that was like, okay, I don't want this to happen again. Let me communicate that. Mind you, we're having a little bit of help on this tour. It's actually the first for the Ball Brothers, the first time we're traveling with a few more crew for cam ops. I think we're bringing a sound mixer, but this is just to cover the ends too, though.
Yeah.
So gratefully for this tour, we're having a little bit of help. But there are times where, like that show, it's not even like biting off more than I could chew. Maybe I could have prepped a little bit better. Absolutely. There's always what ifs,
Yeah.
right? But what I'm very grateful for is like when stuff does bottleneck or we do have a hiccup like that, it's always like, okay, how do we fix it? How, like what makes next time easier? Unless I like completely forget to press record,
Right.
then that's an issue, right? But I'm trying to remember like the part two to your question of
It like
oh,
and
the
like how are
responsibility.
you keeping yeah.
The
But
responsibility, honestly, bro, I never take it for granted because though it is a lot of work and the travel is the hardest part, um, I'm very grateful that like this is my job. Like
yeah.
this is what I get to do for work. It's very time consuming. Um, but I genuinely love it. Like it's and I get to I get to shoot photos and video like all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's and I'm very grateful for that. I will say though, when it bottlenecks is when it feels like the weight of getting stuff out is when it's like the hardest. But
So right there, stay right there for a second because I think this is a great teachable moment
mhm,
that you can give some insight on because I heard you just kind of give your ideal workflow, which
yeah,
is great. But what systems, even in lieu of that, have you put in place to try to not drown in all these deadlines because you know everything can bottleneck. So I know sometimes schedule
hmm,
will make bottleneck happen,
yeah,
but what are some systems you have in place right now or habits that keep it from being a every project thing?
yeah. Well, I will say like communicate priorities. Like I asked Kev straight up, hey, what do you want first? What can we work on like throughout the next week or so?
Yeah.
And I still pressed that deadline, mind you. I was supposed to be done with a couple things Like the longer vlogs have taken a little bit longer. So it's just been taking a little bit longer, man. But like for sure, after the events, he's like, if we can get a reel up pretty quick, let's knock those out. And I'm like, cool. So I put those on top of the agenda. But like for me, communication, and ironically, Kev taught me this uh at All Def when we were working on something else. Like your number one might not be their number one, and vice versa.
Yeah.
You know, like if somebody's expecting something, like even if you have a client, right? For example, since it's a teaching moment, and you got three other clients that week, they don't they don't know about them, but two, they really don't care, right?
Yeah.
Because if it like they paid you for um a gig, they paid you for a job, you executed it, um and if you say it's going to be done in a week, they're going to come knocking in a week. They might give you a little bit of grace, but give yourself an accurate timeline and then add a couple of days. Be realistic, because I feel like communicating a realistic timeline and standing on that and being able to still deliver that. Obviously, deliver it early if you can,
Yeah.
but give yourself the buffer. And if you need to move the needle at the last case scenario, I mean, obviously, don't make it a habit, which is something I'm trying to work through because I used to not be like this, but I think it's just because of the scale of stuff moving and stuff going through in side projects too, which is all great stuff. It's just like you said, it's a constant recalibration.
Yeah.
It's like a software update, right? Like
Mhm.
you gotta pivot for stuff that and new bugs that are coming up in your workflow.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, I would say communication over everything and be realistic with those timelines because and also don't be afraid to like ask the client or ask if you got a relationship with them like yo like what would you like to prioritize if you got three or four deliverables of like a reel,
Yeah.
some stories, a couple stills, like what do you want first? And then let's base the timeline off of executing that and getting that to you, but sticking to that. Because then if you're doing all that and then still doing whatever you want, then why like respectfully, why are you wasting their time?
I like that. Now I got to ask you this. I'm gonna pivot a little bit.
Okay, go crazy.
What's the craziest we need this by tomorrow project you've ever pulled off though?
Oh man, let me think. You know what's funny is, and I'll say this is it not necessarily the craziest. Recently, I did a BTS gig, and I mean, for the most part, I'd ask them like, "Yo, when you like, especially if it's not communicated leading into it, I'd be like, "Yo, when you want this, or like when you need this by."
Yeah.
Because usually it's the opening question is like, "Hey, when can you have this done?" And for me, it's realistically it's like, "Well, when do you need this by?" Because then I can see if I
I,
can move stuff around, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, and it was for a hybrid gig. So I got some stills and like a 1 minute recap. It wasn't anything crazy at all.
Yeah.
Uh, and I always think it's interesting when they kind of like, yo, can you get it like end of week and it being Wednesday? But there's not real like a reason for it.
Yeah.
Cause like it's not public. Maybe to show it at a meeting, but like when you deliver it, and like I said, this is just perspective. When you
Yeah.
deliver it and they're like, okay, yeah, they're gonna check it out when they get back to the office next week. And it's like I always think it's just interesting experiencing that because and even within production, I feel like people know process, right?
Yeah.
But I find it interesting more than anything that it's like, why are you guys pressing me for this if there's no real reason to have it other than like, oh, delivered quickly? Because even then, I'm not giving you my best work. There's no way
Yeah.
I can give you my best work if I'm trying to make this just get this out. And I don't even like doing that. But I mean, for flexibility though, I'm usually pretty flexible unless it's
Yeah.
something that like I'm really passionate about and I'm like, no, I don't know if I could get this done proper. Like even like for example, right? The past and this isn't even a bad experience.
Yeah.
For the Ball Brothers sketches that we did, the Sinners joint, the Batman joint, and the Life joint. We shot those all in one day.
Mm.
And then immediately we're like, okay, we want these to air this day, this day, this day, because that's in line with, and this makes sense because that's in line when the pre-sale link drops with the announcement, or the pre-sale announcement is made, the pre-sale link drops. We want another one for that day. And then uh everybody else, the
Yeah.
link drops on this day. We want something for all that. That makes sense. Um, and then from that, you're like, okay, cool. Let me chip away on this project, get it delivered a few days before. Now, if there's any notes, make the changes and then send it back. But even then, that's within a week. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't really have the, like when it's stuff like that, then I understand it. But when people just kind of want stuff just to see something, or um, I mean, hypothetically, they want photos so they can like wave up on their Instagram of like, look at
Right.
me at the job. It's interesting to me. Like that's usually when I'm like, okay, why are you not necessarily why are you pressing for me for it? Because obviously it's like it's a gig that was paid for.
Yeah.
But
It's not for the strategic return that
no, and
we
there's
set
also
out.
no expedited fee on that either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's I don't even want to say it's a consideration thing, but it's just it's sometimes it can be. Now, granted, for the most part, all my client work is with somebody that I mutually know or things like that. So I've never felt like hired and then pressed for something and me not know them or me not be able to like not necessarily talk to them, but like work something out of
Yeah.
like, well, I think we can do this. Like even this wedding that I shot last month, end of August, for delivery, like I'd said 6 to 8 weeks
Yeah.
realistically. And I've been shipping away at them. But even then, he's like, no, bro. He's like, because even for sneak peeks, right? Like, I got those like probably about a week ish after. I wish I got those quicker. But he's
Yeah.
like, no, bro. He's like, I know you. I mean, he's like, just because you shot a wedding, your life doesn't stop. And I was like, bro, I respect that.
That makes you feel so good, man.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. That makes me
Absolutely.
want to work harder to get
Yes.
your stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I think you answered the question in a sense that you don't realize was you're very strategic in who you work with and the relationships that you have with these people. So
And that's something I don't take for granted either. I'm very grateful
yeah,
for that because also I don't market myself well. I don't pitch concepts. I don't like I mean, and that's not even like all the work comes to me because I don't have a lot of like I might get one or two side gigs a month
yeah,
if I'm lucky. Um, but also I haven't like set up a system for myself to like actively look for gigs, and not to say that it's easy because I know that's a
no,
grind in itself, but it's also the network that you surround yourself with as you start building in whatever industry that you're in. Um, because word of mouth will take you very far.
yep,
Your skill set will keep you there, but I think the way that you handle your business professionalism um, will keep you getting rehired or recommended. Because there's a lot of very talented people um, that can't really market themselves or don't really have their
yeah,
in the system. And there might be some people that are least talented that just know how to move and shake, smile, light up the room, be like, man, this guy's a good time. Bring him back. What's his rate?
yeah.
All right, we'll make it work. He's cool with us though. You know?
Now I'll say this because we walk similar paths. A lot of my clients are ongoing clients,
Mm-hmm.
and I think same thing with you is can be said that people see you consistently working with the same person, they assume that you don't want to take on different projects. Because I've had people tell me, like, man, I've been wanting to work with you forever and a day, but I know you work with so and so all the time, and you're probably booked with that. And I'm like, no, I have room. Call
Hire
me.
me,
Yeah, like,
please. Hire
don't.
me.
And to your point about us marketing ourselves, um, I had a business mentor tell me like earlier this year, like, hey man, I need you to work on getting out of being the really quiet, humble side of yourself. Like, dude, you have these skill sets. go after it. Like, and I tell them like, I don't know, it's like a switch that just my brain, and I don't know if this is the same thing with you. Like when it comes to trying to toot my own horn, like I have no motivation to try to be
Yeah.
that guy.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. And honestly, I feel like I also feel like I talk myself out of being that guy a lot. Um and I think that's the gift and the curse of it.
Yeah.
That's what keeps my like cosign so strong of like, oh no, this guy can do this, and also I don't have to like sell the fact of what I can do to deliver to make sure that I am the guy for you,
Yeah.
you know? Because also I don't like to set a bar of expectation that I'm not necessarily going to meet.
Right.
Even earlier today, I was pitched something for like through like a family friend of like a product branded video, and basically they're trying to update something, right? And it had like a bunch of background like using the product. I was like, and they're like, yo, we thought about you, and I'm always grateful that
Yeah.
my name comes up in rooms. But for me, that I was just like, I don't even know if I would, one, I don't know if I could execute this without a few people, just because the scale of it, it's not necessarily out of like what the one man can do, right? But
Yeah.
I'm big on like, what can I deliver first? If not, okay, then let's talk about having something that's a little bit bigger. But I don't know if that's what they're looking for. So I
Yeah.
don't necessarily know if I want to stretch myself completely thin just to help this person out. Which I try to when I can, but I know that like if they were just like, hey, can you make one of these videos? And they send me something that I've done or whatever, or do you have something like this? And I see it and I'll be like, yeah, I feel like I could do it. If it's not there immediately, or if it's not something where like, oh, I think I know how to do this, let me do it this way, then I might not jump on it.
Yeah.
But I won't be like, oh, there's a nibble on the line. Let me try and lock this in any way, shape, or form, because like without feeling like I can 100% feel confidently like uh execute it. Which is, like I said, is a gift and a curse. I was reading this book, Atomic Habits, and they were saying that like where people thrive most is like a couple degrees or a couple percentage just past like what they think they're capable of doing,
Right.
because they're like, oh, that's still within reach, even though it's out of my comfort zone. If something's a little bit too far now, I feel like I kind of just let it float,
Yeah.
because one, that adds a lot of stress. That's a whole project that I'm like, unless I could bring a team on to help that I know can like help thrive through it. Um, Being 32, I know like I don't need to put myself through that.
Right.
Uh, Unless the bag was crazy, then you can assemble a team and then
You can
pay your
figure it
people
out.
and knock it out of the park. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that did. Now I'm a pivot because we, man, I'm a favorite student, so I can enjoy, like, bro, I love learning from people. But I want to ask you a couple questions before we get to some fun stuff.
Okay.
Uh, One is, what do you see coming for, I would say, next in digital storytelling that nobody's paying attention to right now?
Ooh. Um. What do I think? Like in the creator space?
Yeah, because now we're seeing, and I've been saying this for a minute on the pod, content is currency. There's everything that's been done primarily has been done in the sense of industry stuff.
Yeah.
You're starting to see more original content take shape. Have you heard of the show? I think one of the shows is like Damascus, where the guy like it got shelved at Sony, but then they put it on Tubi and it's going like dummy about
Oh wow,
this
I haven't seen it yet.
guy who's living different versions of his life through AI,
Oh dang.
and it's like going crazy. So people are like, why was this shelved? Or like Netflix or somebody like didn't put it out.
Yeah.
And they were like, because it was too original. But now the needle is moving, and even thankfully in our trade, more docu style stuff is becoming prominent
Yeah, yeah.
because people want reality.
Yeah, that's I think that's what I was going to allude to is not necessarily the day in the life content, but just seeing people's process. I think is very important. Number one, and I think it's inspirational for a lot, but also it's a like you said, it's almost a vicarious tick that gets or like itch that gets scratched.
Yeah,
Um, because and that's why I said I don't take this for granted because I know like everybody's in different um like areas of life and not everybody's able to do everything that
yeah,
they want to do or dream of doing. Um, so being able to show the world around of something being done, I think is like it gives them a feeling of being a part of something.
yeah,
And I think the storytelling around that, uh, and the pieces that you're seeing, like not necessarily just the BTS moments, but like um, the development of how that thing's done. I really enjoyed like one of the I there was a TikTok trend for photographers like I want to say end of last year where they showed every process of it just swipe through of photos. They
yeah,
showed every process of editing their photo, right? They put a mask here, they increased the warmth, they put another radial mask over here that created like some sunlight by
yeah,
cranking the exposure. Um things like that. I'm just like, oh, cool. That's how people generate a lot of images
yeah.
off of something that's just like a flat canvas almost, which is I think that's where like the beauty is in editing that I am trying to get better at myself.
Me
So it's
too.
really cool to see that and like use those as practices. It's a different form of like educational content. Well, it is educational content, right? But uh it's not like just the
Boring. It feels entertaining.
do this to get this. You know, it
Yeah.
feels like it really feels like someone's taking the time to teach you.
Yep.
Um, but honestly, man, I think long form content on YouTube, I think people are missing that. I think people are going to gravitate towards that again. I was actually just talking to one of my friends this week who's a crazy reader, and he's like, I genuinely think that people are tired of the quick scroll because like I think so many people suffer from doom scrolling, so it's
Yep.
just like they know they're aware of what it is now, so they would rather read a book or um
Actually
uh
settle into a story. I think that's where I find myself gravitating to people who give me somewhere to settle for that time that I have.
yes,
Like the quick stuff, it's like you got to find the next thing, like, oh, it's over. Then it's like you get this unfulfillment
yeah,
of finding something that you like,
yeah,
which is why I think streamers are are taking the game right now
yeah,
because they're like, yo, I'm giving you 8 hours, gang, that you can just
every day,
nest here.
yeah.
You know what I
You
mean?
just have me on when you're doing whatever at the house.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I feel like you said, stuff that's consuming without like convicting, um, and not necessarily just even as a distraction. It's really uh like something I enjoy watching, or like sometimes I'll enjoy watching on YouTube are like photographers' POVs.
Like
Like
their photo walks.
just 40 minutes of a GoPro on a chest, just walking
Yes.
through a city.
The New
Uh,
York guys are killing it by like,
New York, man, I envy the street photographers of New York City because you can walk down the same street every day of the year
and get
and get
different.
completely different experiences. It's really cool. It's really
Yeah,
cool to see, and that's why when I'm there, there's like a different battery in my back of just wanting to go walk everywhere or jump on a train, go to a different borough,
I agree.
run around there. Um, it's really cool to see, but like I enjoy that kind of content sometimes. I don't watch it all the time, but like it's really cool um to see what people stop for. to see
Yeah.
what people wait for. Cause like that type of photography is like fishing, bro. It's
Yeah.
really like you're gonna go out and you might catch something, you might not, you might get one photo out of the 30 that you like. Um, but that's kind of what inspired those 30 minutes in reels that I started doing this year that
Loving
have been
those.
really fun for me because I feel like that's what's been the first piece of content that I'm able to make on like Instagram and stuff where I feel
Yeah.
like is very like I'm not originating photo walks by any means. I never want to put that out there. But like picking a song, walking around, tighter time limit, that feels very authentic to me of like what I enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Aside from like golf stuff, aside from like work stuff, but like that is work adjacent content because a lot of it is taken while I'm on a work trip or something like that, which I'm trying to work out of, but that's a not work out of work, but like
Yeah.
finding that inspiration when I'm back home. Because in building a community like that, I really enjoy creating that content, and it's easier for. It takes a long time to do, but it's easier for me to uh sit down and crank out.
And process
And
through it.
and even within that, right down to the 1 of 40 that you might like. When I'm taking the photos, I don't like most of them, but
Yeah.
once I put it together in the edit, I really enjoyed how it comes out, and I think that's the process that I've been really enjoying of that. Um, Making it like something that I really enjoy creating.
So even with your photo walks, like I know we have a tendency to overpack gear.
Oh man.
What are you how are you processing what is like necessary for these?
So
I feel like they're almost therapeutic for you as well.
they are. They definitely are. Sometimes it feels like I got to squeeze it in, but I know that having that thing to edit and to get up is therapeutic in itself. Sorry, my cat's going crazy. But my go-to gear for that, and I'll say what I have been using, not what I want to be using.
Yeah.
Has been an Osmo Pocket 3 because one, it just gives it a different feel
Yeah.
than shooting it on your phone. Not that you need it, but sometimes I feel like it takes me a second to stop, get the clip,
Yeah.
wait for the gimbal to um and then take the photo and then keep going. So for me, and not one of the reasons, but like I have a Leica Q3, which is a luxury purchase,
Yeah.
100%. Nobody needs anything, right? But sometimes I wish though I could have like the 43 joint or just a 50 mil because I noticed for me, I love watching from a distance. Like I'm not great at. I want to get rid of this as well, but it also comes with where I live. In New York, it'd be different. That's what I'll be talking about. It's a lot harder, or you just don't walk up and get a portrait of somebody out here.
Yeah.
Um, Out there, the street photographers, like people are always taking photos of something out there. So I would like a 43 uh, for that experience, but for now, my bare minimum, I like a Q3, um, the Osmo Pocket joint. I have the Meta glasses. I
Yeah.
haven't tried them on a photo walk yet. Uh, but even just by experience between both, I know I like the Osmo quality over it.
Yeah.
But I know with the Meta joint, it's quicker, and that's one of the reasons why I got them because I want to try and keep stuff as efficient as possible
Right.
and to keep me moving. Because like, um, not the few seconds we turn the camera on and stuff, but I like the workflow when stuff works the way it's
Yeah.
like smoothly and supposed to.
And the Osmo just it gives like a cinematic feel without being overly produced.
Yeah, no, and that's why I appreciate it. So that's why
Yeah.
for me, my go tos are um, a camera with a fixed lens, uh, a quick any kind of pocket size.
Because the Q3 is in full frame. It's
It is.
is it?
It's a yeah. It's a 60 megapixel sensor.
And
It's huge.
you want to go like a 43 on that?
I mean, what's cool about that is like I can crop, and which I do get away with it for most parts. But there are like frames where I'm like, dang, I wish I had a little bit of separation
Yeah.
in
I can see that.
in what I'm shooting. But yeah, bare minimum and some headphones, any headphones.
Now I'm glad you're leading me to my next thing because I noticed that you have a great palette with the music selection
Thank you.
and the photo walks that how they pair well together.
I try to be intentional with that. One and that goes from and that's why I feel like it's fairly authentic to me. Uh Not all the time, but if I'm in a new city, I like to listen to something I've never listened to.
Yeah,
Not that these songs aren't songs that I've listened to. I've definitely listened to a lot of them. But for example, right, Chance 3 came out the first time I went to Paris, and I'll never forget listening to Coloring Book out there
yeah.
for whatever reason, because like music takes you places, right? When you listen
Oh,
to albums
absolutely.
and stuff. And I think something that's really special about listening to something new in a new city or a new experience, whatever. It doesn't have to,
Yeah,
I'm not saying travel to Paris to listen to music. Um, what's really cool is like one, I mean, it's a that's a cool part. It's a cool talking piece, but or conversational piece. But what's really cool is like there's certain songs that like take me back to walking around the city, and that's a really cool experience. But like for that series that we're talking about, I was like, oh, cool. Let me try and find an artist that's from here. In some cities, it's a lot harder than others, so I get more regional in that
yeah,
case. Uh, but I try to be intentional with that to kind of like build that into the story of the city that I'm visiting, the photos that I'm getting from the city that I'm visiting, um, which I think is pretty cool. And I mean, for the most part, they're all songs that I would regularly listen to.
yeah.
So when I'm like, and I find out, oh snap, they're from here. I actually know a song. Sometimes if I'm looking for a song, that's usually when I'm like, okay, let me just find something that I'm listening to this week, or find something new to listen to that just came out. Um,
What city has surprised you the most that you enjoyed and didn't think you would?
Photo wise,
Yeah,
Richmond. I would say Richmond, because that was the first time we've stayed in the city
yeah,
this past year, I should say. And we're going back there. I don't know if we're staying in the city, but also the history of the city is crazy. And like walking around a city like that, I was like, oh, I want to learn everything. I want to learn the other side
it's
of this.
so
Like I want to come
diverse.
back. It's so diverse,
It
and
is
also
very a lot of history.
a lot of history, but it looks historic too. You
Yes,
know, down to their capital. That Capitol building's insane. I was like, bro, this is the literally it's the White House. Like it's literally the White House. Also, y'all got the Confederacy White House still as a museum
yeah,
beyond. But cities like that, I know are special going into because like you can feel it going into certain cities.
yeah.
Um, and I caught lucky with decent weather that day, and it was stormy the next. So I was like, let's walk around. I forgot what song I picked, and I don't know if it lined up specifically or not. But yeah, that was a fun one.
Richmond shocked me as well. I'm happy to hear you say that.
I would say Richmond and I think Winston Salem. I think that's when I did Sunshine Anderson.
Yeah,
That was crazy. That was one of the first ones that I started like getting a rhythm of getting
yeah.
into them too.
And I
Which
have family in Winston, and Winston is a place that has history, but is very different too. Like it has a culture of its
Mhm.
own that can
Yeah.
surprise you. I can't say what was your most in uh I guess surprising city without asking what city disappointed you the most.
Oh man. All right. I would say cities that were harder than others. Um, Dang, I kind of want to go back now because I know I had one. Oh, dang.
Because
Let me
some
scroll.
cities just feel like it pulls like it's a strain to get something.
No, for sure. I know I had like one or two. Um, Let me scroll a little bit. My bad for the edit.
Oh, you good. Because I think, and I say this, I think there's a story in all things, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes how we have the ability to connect with these places, which is why I tell clients all creatives aren't meant for the content that you're wanting to put out. There's times I pass jobs on to other people who I know may have a better fit or passion for this type of content. And it's like they say, "Oh, but you could do it. I know you can do it." It's like,
Right.
yeah, I could shoot it and do it, but like
Yeah.
I'm not drawn to the story that you're
Right.
wanting.
Right. So I think if I had to pick, I would say if I had to pick, I think it'd be a tie. And there's no
Okay.
disrespect to the cities.
No slight.
It's just from the time. It might have been the weather as well. I would say Little Rock was tough,
Okay.
and Kansas City, Missouri was tough. Kansas City, Missouri, more for the weather.
The weather. Okay.
The weather, because I did get to see some cool stuff, and there was some. It was some pretty cool spots within the couple blocks that I walked. But I would say Little Rock was definitely the tough one
Yeah.
because there wasn't a whole lot to walk around the like the city. The town was small
Yeah.
of itself, um, and yeah, there just wasn't.
And what's funny is
Uh huh.
like there's certain parts of Arkansas where the Bentons have kind of Walmart family has really put
Oh wow.
their, and it's like night and day. You're like, oh my gosh, from one town to the next,
Yeah.
depending on where they care to kind of cut a
Oh,
check.
100%. And that's why, and that's another thing too. When I'm on these photo walks, I don't go too far
Yeah.
because I'm not trying to explore for the sake of getting a photo of something that I think might be cool over there.
Yeah.
I'm walking 15 minutes one direction, and if it's not a straight 15-minute back, it's
Yeah.
give or take, but I'm hitting a right and then making another right and then making another. I'm coming back. Like I'm not taking an Uber somewhere.
You're not wandering.
No, I'm not going like, oh, this is a spot I want to go check out. I'm genuinely walking roughly from around where we're at because
Yeah.
I'm also by myself. I'm dolo, so I'm not like
Yeah.
putting myself in
Harm's way.
new spots for the sake of getting a video up that day.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I love it. Now I got a couple fire questions for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
One, favorite piece of gear right now.
Favorite piece of gear right now? Ooh. Favorite piece of gear right now. You know what? And I'm just gonna stand on it because there's a lot that's coming out.
10 toes, man.
I can't go wrong with that FX3, man. That camera has been so special for me. I think I was an early
User
I was I was an early user. I was an early believer. When that camera came out, I think in end of 2020 or top of 21 or
21,
end
I
of
think.
21.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
I got it by like, and I sold a couple of things. I got it by like top of 22 or end of 21 because I was like, bro, this is literally great for what I want. It was expensive, but it wasn't crazy bread. And I think the fact that like now there's second movers that are going after that body and shape, like
You can build
that
it up.
that left an imprint on absolutely that left an imprint on the industry,
Yeah.
regardless of like what's new coming out, what has open gate, what has global shutter, all this, like absolutely. But that FX3, like it checks the boxes for me. And at
Yeah.
the end of the day, man, like with all the gear that comes out, what is the best might not be what checks the box for what you need, right?
Yeah.
For me, like a perfect camera for the stuff that I do in event space, not necessarily using it as a studio cam.
Yeah.
I need low light performance that's better than average.
That 12.8 is different,
I
gang.
I need autofocus that's going to hit 90% of the time. Um, I need a fast startup time.
Yeah.
That's overlooked a lot. And I need it to use it. I need it to be used in the ecosystem that I already have. So the fact that I can share lenses
Yeah.
between that and my stills camera, mind you, and that's the thing too, is like I love my Sony my A1. That thing was, I mean, I got that one early too.
It's a
But
workhorse. Yeah.
it's a workhorse. The sensor's huge. It's not the best for low light photography,
Yeah.
but you can
Make it work.
you can make it work, and I do. It's a great camera though. It's probably my favorite camera that I've ever owned. And I say this to say, between those two cameras, back to the FX3 without just talking about gear.
Yeah.
Since I got that camera, I literally have not looked for anything else
Right.
that I feel like I need that would be better serving for me for that. Of course, I would love an FX6. Um, but then like you're just talking bigger form factor, and it's a pivot, and then you
Yeah.
sacrifice the embodied image stabilization. But low key though, I feel like the FX3's got a better picture. That's just me. That's just Josh talking
I'm
from a
with you.
non-technical perspective. But I would say my FX3 has been my go-to for anything professional that I've used, to where I feel like I don't have to rent something in the event that I don't need to rent something.
Yeah. I love that. Next question is coffee or Red Bull?
Oh man, that's tough because I don't drink coffee. So I would say a Red Bull,
Really?
which is ironic if I don't drink coffee. But I love the smell of it. But I would probably say Red Bull.
You just so I mean, are you just like you don't like the taste of coffee?
You know what? I just kind of grew out of it because I was drinking coffee a lot,
Okay.
and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit it cold turkey. I drink like tea and stuff, but
Yeah.
I also just get super anxious if I drink too much coffee, and I
Okay.
don't, especially like with work and
Yeah.
stuff. I was like, let me just. I'll have an occasional energy drink, but even then, um, I think I would take like a light energy drink over
Or,
coffee.
or would you rather go like a matcha?
Oh, I go matcha all the time.
All right. All right.
I'll take matcha over
Re-
Red Bull. I just didn't want to derail your question
No,
too
no,
far.
no. That's cool. We just seeing where you land. You know what I'm saying? Next question. Project you wish you could redo.
A project I wish I could redo in like,
And however it hits you, like either it being so great you wish you could run it back. What Drake said, sometimes I wish I could go back just to experience it twice.
yeah,
Or it could be I felt like I wasn't as prepared as I could have been and I could have smoked that had
yeah.
I
I think I can resonate with that more. Um, Honestly, there's been a couple. There was a couple music or projects that I had in the music space that I wish I could run back to execute it better. Uh, because I think it was a mix of ego and being in my head at the time, of feeling like I didn't have the resources, but also not putting the full scale of what I could do into it.
yeah,
I leaned on what I didn't have instead of
maximizing
do
what you did.
absolutely, because I did a whole documentary off of a 6300 at the time, or 6500, whatever the one that was out in like 2019,
That's 6,300.
and a 6300 and a Sigma 16 crop sensor lens, with the Rode mic on it. Like I wish my anxieties didn't block my creativity
Yeah,
sometimes, or I wish I because that's not fair to say. I wish I could have used more of my tools to work through my anxieties from blocking my creativity.
I like that.
And that's still to this day, but that's been something I've been working through for a few years.
All right, what's a dream collab outside of KevOnStage's content and
A
brand?
dream collab outside of KevOnStage's content. Um, I would love to shoot high reach, and it's always tough too because this is what I put in my head that I don't do enough of it. I would love to do an album cover for Cole. Um, but it's twofold, right? Because also it's like, have I been working towards that? Not necessarily. Do
He's
I
on,
know I can? Do I
he-
know I could lock in with the team and like execute it? Absolutely. You know
he's
what I
on the
mean?
front page of your website.
I mean he is, but
Is that a
that's also
manifestation thing?
that's I mean it can be a manifestation thing, but also that's family adjacent because like after All Def, like Dreamville really took me in, and shouts to like one of my brothers, his name's DJ Night Train. Uh, he was Boss's DJ for a minute. I mean, they're all family, but I got to
Yeah.
run around with them for years, shooting whatever, whenever. They've always took me in. Nothing fully lined up for something for me to fully grow into that I like
Settle in.
nailed out of the park at the time, you
Yeah.
know? So, but even then, like I said, that was a different period of where I was at mentally. Um, but yeah, I would say like before it was all said and done for me, it'd be cool to collab uh with something of his personal project discography to
Yeah.
some degree. High reach, high reach.
Like, do you have thoughts about what it would be like for you to be like his doc guy? Because
I used to, but I think I respect that team so much though, bro. Like most of it's done by a couple people.
you call family.
David, yeah, I mean they're because like I don't want to say I come up with them because they were doing their own thing
Yeah.
in a well, no pun, in a parallel uh ecosystem or in a parallel universe, not universe, in a parallel path, I should say.
Yeah. Their
Uh,
journey.
yeah, and like they like one thing about what's really cool about music creativity or creatives in the music space is they create worlds, they create
Yeah.
universes, and every detail is intentional. And I
Yeah.
think that is something that like I always wish that my brain could open that window for.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the brain type that I have, sometimes that's where my overthinking kind of blocks me.
Yeah.
I think very technically. So like pushing the envelope of like a starting point of where something can go is always something that I struggle with. But in terms of like being his day to day, what's interesting is like Cole's he stays underground.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He pops out when he works. That was always a tour that I wanted to like be a part of
Yeah.
for sure when he did like a run, but like and I would still love to do it. Uh but
Because
now
he
I'm
still
starting to get
got
into
something coming. He's isn't the fallout. Isn't
yeah,
the
the
fallout?
fallout is supposed to be coming at some point. It's
Yeah.
coming. I mean, only he knows when though. Uh,
So if you get the call, if they
if
they
I got the
say
call, and if I got the call for what to do
like
content around it,
like
I
yeah,
would love
they're
to
like, hey man, we
because Scott Laser, who's one of his creative directors, not like I mean, he's the one who helped produce the Inevitable series.
yeah.
He was the other microphone on that, but also he like helped direct everything.
And I love the mixed
Scott is
media approach he takes.
it's amazing. It's amazing. Scott's
So
been dialed in for years though.
yeah,
Scott he is the one who helped execute the HBO doc series. That's what got me
yeah,
into documentary. Like that type of moving content and just seeing the process leading into something like to build that excitement.
right.
I would love to be a part of that. I've always wanted to be a part of that. That's what
Yeah,
got me into the doc space or wanting to get into the doc space or just storytelling to that scale. That's where the world started colliding. Um, so absolutely, I would love to be a part of it. Would I? I mean, and that's the hard part too. Is like, uh, that's a box that I would love to check off before it was all
okay.
said and
I can see that. I definitely can see that for you in that sense. And you know, I wonder like where do you see yourself in the next 5, man? Like what I know we're starting family and doing those
done. Yeah,
things, but career wise also like what are you wanting? What are you seeing for yourself?
I really want to develop my own footing in YouTube. I think that's a platform that I've always overthought of what my footprint is going to look like or what look like. But I've been trying to not storyboard out, but just put more thoughts of like, what are the pillars that I want to have there that don't just look like a bunch of
Yeah.
random things that I do on one page. And it kind of goes back to because I love the golf space. I love it. I love it. I love it. at my heart though, I'm still a photographer first.
Yeah.
Um, I just also love golf. So I think those worlds can live together. I've just been figuring out a way to make that happen. So I really want to get more into like uh not necessarily gear reviews, but like reviewing gear in terms of experience.
Yeah.
Um with whatever I'm using. Not necessarily like gear acquisition, but like
What
I
works?
love I love anticipation of new things coming out and like seeing people's experience with them because I love that as well, you know. So
Yeah.
like even like the photo walks and stuff, I love being able to use gear for that, you know. Like
Yeah.
I can easily just walk around with my phone, get some clips with my phone, and then take some photos with my phone, absolutely. But for me,
Right.
like I've always loved what is the best version of whatever I could create with the gear that I have, or what's a piece that I might be able to try to execute that. So I think there's
I
something that I'm thinking about, or that I'm developing, I should say, um, that kind of showcases like how to get that with this. That kind of goes back
yeah.
to longer form content.
I love that, man. And I think all of this was dope today, bro. Like you gave so
Thanks,
much
man.
insight and a lot of times you rarely hear from people within our walk where you have to kind of be so well rounded within things. A lot of people are either in one role. A lot of my guys, they either DPs, ACs, or like grips or whatever the case is. And that is
And
the
that's a
one
tough.
lane
Yeah,
that they, you know what I
and
mean?
that's sometimes I'm envious of that, but it's also
Yes.
twofold too. Though is like I don't know if I could do or if I would love being on set every day. I
Yeah.
love being on set. I know now that I don't know if I would love doing that full time.
Yeah.
But there was a point in my life where I was like, "Oh, bro, I want to learn how to DP and work on everything." But that comes with sacrifice, man. Like
Yeah.
especially if you're in a committed relationship, if you're married, like everything is time at the end of the day. And yes, those bigger projects are really cool and really like fun to be a part of. But that's also months. Like you gotta really, really, really love it because that's months sacrifice of
Yeah.
being in and out of the house if you're local. Um,
But I love
but
it's something too about docu styles. Just
yeah, it's special.
you
It's raw.
yeah, man.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of people don't get it. Like I I I found that I land in like this gray area. You probably know this too. It's like even on sets, they're like, "Hey, man, like just do your thing."
yeah. Absolutely. Oh yeah, you got it.
But
You
then
know,
it's
I asked for
like,
references, things like that. Like, yeah, we figure. I mean, and honestly, I don't take that for granted. Like, that's something that I'm kind of accepting more of. Like, oh man, like I have to like affirm myself. Like, this
yeah,
is why my name got brought up. You know.
yeah,
Um, but even then, yeah, like I'm grateful, man. I'm definitely. I would say I wear a lot of hats. We have a small team at KevOnStage Studios, but everybody's dope in their own lane, and also like everybody wears a lot of hats. I think that's the community that Kevin and Melissa have cultivated. Everybody wants like that type of aspect.
yeah.
Everybody wants that bigger picture, you know, and um it's dope, man. Like it's cool to be a part of. I'm grateful.
So, last question. I like asking people this: when it's all said and done, what do you want people to remember about the work that you've created?
Um I want them to remember that I want people to be inspired in the sense of them thinking that they can chase something, whatever they want to do, and it's going to take a while. There's going to be a lot more worse days than good days. I want them to be able to genuinely feel like nothing is out of reach of careers, aspirations, um, I want them to feel normalcy when they see the stuff that I do. I don't want them to feel like I am on a pedestal or am living a life that is only thought about or seen through a screen, because
Mm,
I don't necessarily feel like that. There are times where I'm like, dang, this is crazy. This is really crazy right now. But I also know the work that I put in present tense to maintain it,
I love that, man.
if that
Uh,
helps.
oh, that's perfect, bro. Like that's your. I mean, that's your the stamp of what you are seeking and building to leave behind. And I love that because that is your truth. What do you have coming up? This is where you get to promote yourself. What can people expect coming up for the last fourth quarter of this year? I know y'all got tour coming up. Plug that, and your socials, and you know, this is your time to shine, bro.
Man, if you guys want to laugh, come to a Ball Brothers show. We got 16 dates. Find one closest to you. Tickets are on KevOnStage.com. I am most excited though that like now I feel and I'm gonna be honest too, like work stuff aside, uh now we're starting to book like plan for this wedding, and it's like added so much different stress, but it's like it's cool because we're like, dang, these are boxes that we're checking. We're about to book the photographer, which has been a whole thing. Um, but it's exciting, man, because like it was always next year from like January, but
Mm-hmm.
now it's like within a year, so it's exciting. So that's what I mean internally we're excited about. But yeah, man, if you guys like photography and music, tap into my content. I love my little photo walks. It's therapeutic for me. If you guys like watching people on photo walks, it could be for you. um but yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on the work side, but on the personal side too. Like I'm loving man, yeah, I'm kind of loving where God's kind of got me right now.
I
I'm
love
just
it.
trying to buckle in and keep my head above the water.
Hey man, you're doing a great job, bro. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to my boy. Go follow him. I believe it's JoshyGonz at JoshyGonz on all platforms. This has been another episode of The World According to Low, where we talk about life, career, culture, and everything in between. Y'all gotta stop and clap it up for my brother Josh. Man, he smoked today's episode. But
Thanks,
don't be
Lo.
selfish, man. Share this with a friend or someone that you know is looking to grow their career, looking to learn. I tell people all the time, this is a learning platform where everything is not learned through record. Like what Josh said today about relationships, how you approach things, balance. That is what keeps you in this career and industry long term. It's not always just the creative side, man. You got to be well rounded. And don't take my word for it. Play it back, listen to it again, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.